Okay, David.
All right. Let me just do a brief little introduction.
Uh-huh.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Greetings, this is Juliano. We are the Arcturians. Let us bring our highest mind energy together in what we call the expanded mind and expanded consciousness as we seek to explore many aspects of our soul and try to understand the complicated events that are now occurring on the third dimension, and of course how these events affect you as a starseed. So Jane, welcome, and please start with the first question.
An absolute pleasure, Juliano. So Fred in Boston has asked a question from you. Juliano, I'm trying to explain to others what ascension is. So could you advise what other groups believe in ascension? A group of thousands in Tibet believe in ascending to their rainbow body. Would you know who they are and what other groups believe in ascension?
Well, our mission is for personal and planetary ascension. It is true that throughout the centuries of Western and Eastern civilizations, there are discussions and different approaches to the ascension. We, the Arcturians, are not promoting or even providing information about other groups' idea of ascension. We only can say that the ascension is a common theme throughout religious and spiritual groups. We are promoting our view of ascension, and that is how we will approach and define the subject. Basically, ascension is a transformation of your third-dimensional energy, including the transformation of your physical body, into a light form that allows you to enter immediately your fifth-dimensional body and the fifth-dimensional realm. The actual ascension process from the outside looks like you are disappearing, but in truth, your ascension is an acceleration, an increase of your vibrational energy, which allows you then to transform and accelerate energetically into the other realm. Our approach to ascension and our practices then are focused on teaching you how to accelerate your aura. The exercises that we teach focus on shimmering and other aspects of energy acceleration of the aura, as well as bilocation, where we work with you on practicing sending your energy field into the other fifth-dimensional realms. Other approaches may or may not deal with these, but again, our mission and our work is to promote and teach our idea of ascension to the starseeds. Next question, please.
Lovely. Our lovely Rose in New Zealand has asked a question from you. Juliano, could you advise how we connect with our personal guides, including our Arcturian guides? And is there some way to know which is our personal guide from Arcturus?
Connecting with your personal guides is an important matter as you are opening up to your starseed heritage and to your starseed consciousness. I suggest that you make a list of all of the ascended masters you know about, including myself, including Helioa, including Sananda, including Lord Maitreya, Archangel Michael. And as you look at that list, tell me or tell yourself, which one are you most attracted to? Find pictures of those guides. Read books that describe those guides and their teachings. In your channeled trance work, call on the guide that you feel most connected with. In other words, there is an intuitive connection that you will feel. It will be a vibration. It will be a stimulation. It will be an activation that you feel in your crown chakra when you are closest to your guide. Remember, when you are connecting to your guide or any entity, be sure to ask for that guide's name. If for some reason they do not give their name, then insist on their name, and also insist that and by asking them if they are coming in the light of higher consciousness or coming in the Christ light. Next question, please.
Wonderful. Thank you, Juliano. Belinda in the UK has asked, Juliano, my question is about the volcanic eruption in La Palma. I read somewhere that if necessary, Gaia would show her might. Well, it wasn't those, wasn't those exact words, but she would show her might and create havoc as a means to rebalance the world. Juliano, what are your thoughts about this volcano?
Volcanoes can be described as angry reactions from the internal earth. When you look at the imbalances that are being created by humanity, then you can say that those imbalances are caused by blocked energy or blocked energy in the meridians. We look at the earth as a living spirit or as a living planet, and we compare the energy field of the earth to the Chinese model of the human body, which includes meridian systems. Each meridian system has a certain energetic flow that is necessary to keep a healthy balance and to preserve the health of a human body. It is the same way on the earth. Unfortunately, when there is a block in the meridian system, it is difficult to predict where on the line of the meridian system a eruption or a disease or a major imbalance will express itself. In this model, then such volcanic eruptions as you are describing on La Palmera and are unpredictably expressions of blocked meridians that can be in different parts of the world. I explain to my students on Earth that unfortunately the Earth's eruptions are not necessarily predictable. For example, in the human body, it often is shown that the weakest part of a link breaks down. Is the La Palmera eruption a weak link in the Earth's meridian system? Yes. There are many weak links because there are many weak links along for example, the Ring of Fire. There are weak links along that are expressed in volcanic eruptions. Therefore, the weak links are not necessarily those areas that are responsible for the blockages, but they are representative of areas that can break down. The truth is that the eruptions and earth changes are going to occur in alignment with the Earth's needs and may and probably will not be for the highest benefit of humanity. This is why we are calling this an Earth crisis, because parts of the Earth that, quote, may be innocent, unquote, are still or potentially can suffer in this weak link model based on the Earth's meridian system that I have expressed. Next question, please.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So the members of the PC Planetary City of Light Planetary Ocean Reserve of Light in Melbourne have sent a question. Juliano, some members want to send energy to our dormant PCOLs in Australia. When we wanted to include the Dandenongs, we were advised that there should always be someone in the dormant PCOL at the same time to receive the energy. Could you advise?
Yes, it is true that we have said, and we continue to agree, that a dormant PCOL needs to have a member or a supporter in that PCOL to receive the energy. Therefore, we do not recommend sending energy to dormant areas. I realize that you have high levels of enthusiasm and are wishing to activate or reactivate, reawaken members or potential members in the area. You certainly can send energy to any area. And I know in this question series, someone is asking us to send energy to Taiwan, even though at this time, to our knowledge, there are no GOF members or there are no cities of light there. But specifically for the GOF project and for our goals in creating a network of planetary cities of light, we recommend to only do so when there is somebody there to receive it. I can use the example of the Arcturian sending energy down to the Earth. Our work, and any work of an Ascended Master, is dependent upon a group or a starseed living on the planet who can receive the energy. This is one of our discussions about why it is necessary for many of you to be on the Earth now, because you are acting as receivers of higher fifth dimensional light. Without receivers, then the energy and light cannot be permanently or successfully distributed on the planet. Next question, please.
Okay, thank you, Juliano. Tim in Texas has asked, Juliano, could you give us more information on NESARA, N-E-S-A-R-A?
Our understanding is NESARA is a new money system that some of the starseeds believe will be instituted after a financial collapse. The new money system will be based on different beliefs and different principles that hopefully would unite the planet and bring about an equal distribution of wealth. Certainly helping poor people. I like to point out that on our planet and other advanced planets, especially planets that are in stage 2 of planetary development, these planets do not have money. So money is not a universal phenomena on all planetary systems. Now, when I look specifically at the situation on the Earth, the observation is that the necessity for changing the system would require a collapse of the existing system. I jokingly say that the existing system is the worst possible monetary system, except for every other system that's in existence. This means that it is not a great system, but other systems are also problematic. Using that model and using the premise of economic collapse of an existing system, I can tell you that the chaos that would follow would cause tremendous amount of suffering, even though this current system has so many problems and it favors many of the rich people. Therefore, I do not promote, I do not recommend, and I do not see that this system that he described will be implemented. Next question, please.
Carol in New Zealand has asked questions from you. Juliano, I've studied with various lecturers about the 12 stages of light body. Could you talk about the specifics on light body transformation, and are all starseeds going through similar processes, stages, sequences?
Well, there are many discussions and different attitudes and different observations about the light body. Ours is based on more of a simplistic description. That is, that we do not describe stages. Rather, we give the basic description of your light body as your fifth dimensional body. The fifth dimensional body, each person's fifth dimensional body is based and can be based on their own imagination or their own memory of their highest point of health and beauty on the third dimension. That means that you have the ability, each of you, to formulate and etch your fifth dimensional body. Our description then is that the light body is the fifth dimensional body. When you see pictures of ascended masters, either on the internet or in special spiritual books, you always will see them in their fifth dimensional body, and they are appearing then in their highest, most beautiful and harmonious form. That is what your fifth dimensional or light body will look like. I do say that the light body or the fifth dimensional body, which are the same, are vibrating in alignment with your highest soul. Some call it the I Am Presence, or as it's also called in Hebrew, the Neshama, the higher soul. And I believe that's all you really need to know, is that your fifth dimensional body and light body are the same, and that you, in your highest wisdom and expanded consciousness, will help to co-create that fifth dimensional body. And I encourage you in your practices and meditations to visualize that body and visit that body and practice integrating the body. Our approach then is what some would call a rather simplistic approach. However, it does work, and it makes it easy and obtainable for all starseeds. Next question.
Okay. Our Ariana in Chaos has asked, Juliano, I understand that as you communicate predominantly telepathically, there's very little need to talk. But on what occasions do you talk? Juliano, could you say something in your language, perhaps a blessing on our journey toward ascension, or something that would help us to remember who we are? And how do you say Arcturus in your language?
Let me say something about telepathic communication. Words have evolved, and speech has evolved over the millennium. But there are pre-verbal communications. I'm not talking about pre-verbal communications from children, but there are thoughts and energy that are intuitive, that are very complex. And even today, each of you will have deep thoughts and deep energy connections that are not possible to be communicated in words. If you look at the experiences of the mystics in the religious histories, or if you look at the experiences of those who have experienced heightened experiences through mushrooms or ayahuasca or the like, then you will, in an interview, find that they cannot communicate what they have experienced. This shows you or tells you that there is a limitation in communication when you try to put things into words. Therefore, the higher level feelings, thoughts, and inspirations and imaginations are communicated telepathically in addition to words. We have then learned to connect our thought patterns with each other. The problem on Earth is that thought patterns are often based on third-dimensional issues and third-dimensional needs, and you, not you personally, but the planet is generally in a very competitive state. Each person may want what you have, for example, or you may want what they have, and there is a lot of shame, so there is a hiding often of thoughts. Again, this is not a judgment, but this is just a observation. Generally, we do not use words unless we're interacting on the third dimension. And if you were wanting us to communicate with words, let me say that we do communicate with you using tones and sounds, and that we are able to align ourselves telepathically with channels who can bring down and translate our thought patterns into words that you can grasp and understand. But throughout our downloading and lectures, we do attempt to bring you our thoughts and to bring you our energy through a tonal vibration. And that means that our communications, if we do verbalize them, often sound like tones. This may make you think about dolphins and whales who are communicating also using tones and sounds, much the way we would, but we can also communicate tones and sounds telepathically. The name Arcturus has been transmuted from our language and our sounds into the earth sound, but it was brought to the earth at the time of the ancient Greeks, and our original sound was close to an ah sound, like an ah, would be an approximation of how we would be enunciating it. And we will say the blessings for all of you because we send our love, we send our deepest support for your rapid ascension and for your overcoming the densities on the third dimension. Let there be light to each of the star seeds and each of you who are listening to my words, because we are brothers and sisters. Even though we are in a higher dimension, we look upon you as equals, and we offer our support in as many ways as possible at all times. Next question, please.
Wonderful. Okay, our Charmaine on the Gold Coast has asked a question from you. In the meditations where you tell us as a group to go to the Starship Athena, do you see us actually there in spirit form, or do you just see some of the group?
We see everyone. I know that some of you may not have the spiritual advancement or abilities or techniques to bilocate. But just remember that your intention and your thought about being there is a beginning process. And it does create a presence. The rule in the universe is wait one moment, please. The fastest energy in the universe is the speed of thought. And the subsidiary rule is that your energy follows your thought. If you want to bilocate to an area, you have to send your thought to that area. If you want to bilocate to the starship Athena, then you have to send your thought. Now, I realize that sending your thought is the first step, but it is an important step. The second step would be to send your spirit body. But the first step is probably the most important. That is the sending of your thought. And every one of you, no matter what level of practice you have energetically, can successfully send your thought to our starship. And we see and feel and receive your thought waves. Depending upon your level of comfort and your practicing ability, each of you can also send your spirit body there. Therefore, we do see everyone, and we see you either as a thought energy field or as a thought, because we have heightened perception. That means that we can perceive the thought as it is sent, and we can connect that thought to the person who sends it, and therefore we would see you coming into our starship, even though we would see who it is that sent the thought. And we encourage you, when this happens, we try to make it easier to attract you and your aura body into our corridor. In summary, then, the thought is the first step. Now, we also talk about imagination, and we encourage imagination because imagination is also part of the thought process. And a lot of the traveling to the starship is done in a trance. We have to encourage you then to use your trance state in order to improve your bilocation. Next question, please.
Well, the next question's a little bit of a continuation of that. I'll read it. In our meditations with you, when we're given directions to use corridors, I don't always see them. And if I can't see anything, will the meditation still work? Because I then feel I'm making it up. I'm trying to understand why on rare occasions I can perceive things or hear messages, which actually happened once, but mostly I get nothing. If you have any tips on improving perception, I'd love to hear them. Thank you.
Again, we have to encourage you to go into a trance and go into a deeper trance. But the fact that you can send your thought wave, then that's the first step. When you hear me say, okay, enter the corridor, then you send your thought into the corridor. And yes, it might be imagination that there is a corridor in front of you, but and that you could say is you're imagining it, but that's the first step in the transportation and the thought projection is imagination. Now I know that when you are doing imagination, you often will criticize yourself by saying, well, I'm just making this up. I say that imagination is powerful. Imagination is a good thing. And imagination is the first step towards the visualization and the bilocation traveling. I emphasize then that the best tip is to work on going into a deep state of relaxation and to going into a trance, which has been described also as self-hypnosis. And I recommend practicing going into a trance either before or during the meditation, using repetition of mantras, using tones and sounds, using crystals, using music, and different cues that will help you enter a deeper state. And that state is helping you to connect with your subconscious and your a greater consciousness, and also helps you connect with what I call the expanded mind. Because modern psychology has you looking at the conscious and the subconscious and the unconscious. But we like to also talk about the greater collective consciousness, the higher consciousness, and sometimes I refer to that as the super consciousness. And in super consciousness, we refer to the expanded mind. And that is where what I call the bread and butter is in this type of bilocation. So work with, to the best of your ability, connecting to your super consciousness, expanded mind, through meditations and through chanting, drumming, and try to find ways to quiet what would be called the conscious mind. And that will greatly accelerate your work. Next question, please.
Okay, we have another question from the UK. Juliano, evidence has emerged, according to a publication in the US called Natural News, that plans were put in place a while back to have ready to launch mass bioweapons that will drop spike protein airborne viruses that can penetrate the skin using drones over the US cities to continue with the agenda to depopulate and destabilize the world, particularly the US, starting in Texas, and that this is part of the second phase of the plan following COVID. Juliano, is this true? How could we prevent these atrocities?
There are evil people on the planet. There are negative forces on the planet. That is obvious to anyone who is a serious student of the Earth, and of course a serious student of the many wars that have occurred, including, I would mention, World War I, which was a very brutal war that led to many people slaughtered for no reason. Now, what you are saying about this event or this evilness is what I describe as an evil plot, and evil thoughts that are held by some people in the world. That is, there has been discussion among what some would call the Illuminati or the secret government or the cabal that's ruling this planet. There's been discussions about population control. And the wild and unbelievable information that is presented in this question, it does reflect some evil thinking by these type of these people. They have gone through scenarios of mass destruction. There are buildings of underground cities. There are buildings of underground bunkers. There are mass preparations for disaster. And they see that, and their discussions do include bioterrorism and bioweaponry. This is extremely tragic, extremely sad. The best way to combat this is through uncovering and making public those thoughts and any information or evidence that can be uncovered to verify what nefarious plans such groups of people have. But at the same time, the energy of the sixth mass extinction, left uncontrolled, could potentially lead to the same outcome. That type of thinking that she described in these articles is really backward thinking, because just left, if things continue as they are, there will be mass destructions, because that's what a mass extinction is. And the discussion needs to move to the fact that humanity is at risk for mass extinction, because you are part of the plant and animal world. My advice then is, to the best of your ability and others, continue to reveal and discuss and openly bring forth whatever crazy ideas you may think are unbelievable, because that is the best defense. I will use a kind of a backward example, but there has been a strong history of child abuse and pedophilia among the church, among the Catholic Church, and the uncovering and the broadcasting of the details of this bad behavior is slowly leading to changes. So the bringing forth to the public arena knowledge and information about the negativity and the evil conspiracies will help to counter it. Next question, please.
We may as well continue on that theme for the next question from Tim. And it was, Juliano, could you give us more information on the Illuminati, the remaining dark ones, that are running the US and other governments?
My best description of the Illuminati, or those running the governments, is this. The world is being controlled by corporations and small groups of financially powerful people who own these corporations. And these corporations are able to influence and control the governments. If you want to understand who the Illuminati are, then it is the quote hidden or less known people, not who are running and controlling the corporations, which also include the banks and the financial matters. Now, this has gone on for centuries, and it is a unfortunate negative byproduct of capitalism. And I'm not being critical of capitalism, I'm just pointing out that the byproduct of this system is that there are pockets of people who accumulate wealth and power and then become in control, and that's who the quote the Illuminati are these people, and generally it would be the corporations, and there are large corporations that you are becoming more and more aware of, including the pharmaceutical companies, the oil companies, and the companies that are making war machinery, etc. I would say the same advice I had before, which is the uncovering of this, is the best antidote. But it is somewhat bizarre, in our estimation, that they have given the name Illuminati, because that somehow comes from our understanding of their language as if they are illuminated, or as if they are some kind of special spiritual group, but they're not. So I'm hoping that somehow that another name could be given that doesn't imply illumination, because this is not an enlightened spiritual group who is trying to direct this planet towards evolution, but rather it's a secret group that is working towards planetary control and working towards holding on to power. But you and I both know that the holding on to power and the systems they're trying to preserve are old and corrupted systems. And there is a need for the change to a new system. But when you're in power, you seek to hold on to your power. And this is the big problem, because their goal is not to illuminate the earth or have the earth evolve, but their goal is to maintain control and hold on to their power. Next question, please.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Ivan on the Gold Coast has asked a question from you. Juliano, would the Arcturians provide a quantum being quantum being training to the starseeds residing on Earth? And if not, who would they recommend we learn it from?
We have looked at that matter closely, and we have looked at, for example, the possibility of developing an Arcturian school. But, when you seek to, on the Earth, develop a system, or let's say a spiritual system, there becomes problems, and we've already seen that there have been some problems already in the developments of Arcturian schools, through some of the work that has been done. And I would say that we are still studying the matter. We would like to continue to develop higher levels of learning and higher levels of teaching through the type of system that might be defined as an Arcturian school. But we also know that there is still a lot of competition, and there still is a lot of ownership of who and where and how to do such a thing as a school. But we are looking, and we are glad that there are people like him, Ivan, who want to see a higher learning platform. We are eager to bring down more of the knowledge about quantum light and quantum healing. And if the right platform and the right people and the right opportunity comes to manifest such a, I guess we'd call it a school, then we would be more than happy to work with those people in that platform. Next question, please.
Okay. A member in New Zealand has asked, Juliano, can you suggest some ways we could help the young generation? They are struggling a lot in the systems and their parents are not very aware. Are there any tools that children can be introduced to that would assist them to focus and be still in a quicker way?
We were very impressed with the Steven Spielberg's film E.T. And that movie was a marvelous teaching tool that was able to touch young people. And I would continue to encourage such films or such discussions about ETs with the young people. I believe that the ET phenomena and ET descriptions are the best way to activate and to teach young starseeds about the new consciousness and about the evolution of the Earth and about what it's like to live with higher beings on another system and what it's like to live on other dimensions. My answer then is that work on developing and discussing ETs, higher ETs, higher dimensional beings, with the children. It will activate their imagination. It will help them to break out of their box. And it's also activating and will help to stimulate some of their hidden knowledge and older memories from other lifetimes. I know that there's certainly a phenomena of presenting ETs as bad people who are going to, bring weaponry and different aggression to the planet. But the movie The E.T. by Steven Spielberg really touched a chord that I believe should be expanded and worked upon to connect and help to activate and help younger people become more hopeful. Next question, please.
Okay, so Bob in Alabama has asked, Juliano, here on Earth we choose which cities are to become planetary cities of light. We download the fifth dimensional energies and work with those energies. What is the definition of a galactic city of light? Is every fifth dimensional city a city of light? And what is the process of matching our planetary cities of light with their star sister cities? How is that done?
The galactic city of light is a city that is part of a galactic network, as opposed to a planetary city of light, which is only working within the planet. Therefore, if you have a planetary city of light, it is part of the network of planetary cities of light on the Earth. If you have a galactic city of light, then you are connecting with other cities of light in the galaxy. That means that you could have a city of light on Arcturus or a city of light in Antares, and it's connecting with other cities of light on the other side of the galaxy. Our idea was that a planetary city of light can be both. It can connect to an individual planetary city of light on Earth, and it can connect to a galactic city of light. The question is, how do you know, or how can you find the galactic cities of light? And my recommendation is that perhaps the Planetary City of Light Committee develop a list of all known star systems that either this channel or others feel there is higher beings and higher civilizations. Let us say, for example, okay, we have the Pleiades, you have Alcyon, you have Era. Let's say we have the moon planet Delano. We have the Antares, and there are other planetary systems. And I would recommend that you develop a list through interviewing and through your own intuition, your own trance work, and also your own knowledge of the planet and the galaxy. Develop a list of about 40 or 50 stars that potentially you feel would have life on them. And then from there, use that in your meditations and try to sense which, if any, of those star systems have life on them. Everyone is relating to the Pleiadians. A lot of people are relating to the Antarians. And there are also the Sirians, and there is the starship, the star moon planet Delano, and there's Arcturus. But there are other planetary stars. So it does require some knowledge and study of the known star systems, and it requires the meditation and trying to connect in thought. You see, there is a methodology of sending thoughts out to the galaxy remotely and touching and communicating with other higher planetary systems. Remember that these other galactic cities of light are sending out beams of thought to connect with you. And so it does require you developing a sensitivity and a receptivity to those galactic energies. Next question, please.
So this is another question from New Zealand. They've been very busy. The tools mentioned by others for preparation for ascension are effective, but a lot of those tools take step-by-step action and can be quite time-consuming. I feel the effect of using the GOF Cosmic Egg, shimmering and guided meditations are instantaneous, simple and powerful. Is it better to just focus on and adhere to the Arcturian tools? And as you rise in vibration, are the tools that we would use more simplified?
Well, as I said in the beginning of this lecture, there are different views on ascension, and there are different views on tools and techniques. We have chosen these simple ones because we found them to be the most effective and the easiest to understand. In earlier times, people would meditate in caves for days or years in preparation for the ascension. This is a different time. This is a different circumstance on the planet. I would not criticize, or I'm not here to comment on the other approaches. I think each of you must make your own determination. We are not trying to say this is the only way to prepare for the ascension. We're just saying this is the Arcturian way. If you resonate with it, and you must, or else you wouldn't be with our group, then follow it and you use the techniques. They are effective. But I do not feel free to study other approaches, other techniques. Again, we are not saying we are not rigid, saying this is the only way. So explore. This is a free will zone. One of the reasons why you're here on this planet now is because you have opportunities to explore different approaches and take advantage of that. But having said all that, I will say to you that our basic description with the cosmic egg is the core technique that is necessary. And yes, it is simple, but simple does not mean it's bad. And simple also does require work. And the idea of simple is, it may seem simple to you, but believe me, to people who do not have a high spiritual light quotient, this is very complex. Next question.
Yes, this is the last one, Juliano. It comes from Jan in Alabama. Juliano, would it be helpful for a person to keep a visualization of Taiwan with a cosmic egg surrounding it? And would it be even more protective for a group to do this?
Well, the problem is that, to my knowledge, there is no Groupofforty members in Taiwan. Now, there might be some who are following. I'm sure there are starseeds there. But we have the same issue, which is to work like that is a great idea, but it's more effective if there's somebody's there. There is, of course, a danger now from Taiwan going into war with China. And I would recommend that if you are going to do that kind of work, that it be done in groups, such as in the biorelativity groups, because trying to send and hold a dome over a whole country is a lot of work. It requires a high level of energy. Remember, our goal was to get 1,600 people to work together, and this is a beautiful thought. It would require a large number of people meditating together to place a dome over that country. But it is possible, and it would be preferable if we could have some Groupofforty members in Taiwan to help us participate. This is Juliano. Good day.